In the fall of 1937, after the tomato harvest, Sister Pearl and Brother Vernon Collins started having church services in a tomato shed owned by Reuben Malloy near the railroad tracks in Timpson. This was the beginning services of the Assembly of God Church. In the first few Sundays, it was only Sister Pearl, Brother Vernon, and their daughter Joyce. After a while, Ollie D. and Maud McDonald joined them with their 4 boys, Doy, Eloy, Douglas, and Norman. As more and more families joined the church moved to downtown Timpson in the Whitten Building, a storefront building they rented from Mr. Harvey. In 1940, the church was able to purchase the property on the corner of 59 and Houston Street. During the time of the building project of the new church, the section loaned the church a large revival tent, and services were held under the tent during this time.
I was the only child of Vernon and Pearl Collins, and I was just a little bitty tot at the time the church started. And by the time they had moved into the tent, well, I still wasn't very old. But anyway, the ladies got together to figure out a fundraiser, and somebody come up with the idea of making a family quilt. And they had all the families that was in the church to make a block, the ones that would. And they charged, now I can't remember this, but they charged, I think, 25 cents to put their name on the block. And I think there were about 25 names on the block. All that is just I know it happened, but I can't tell exactly how. But anyway, we had a man that came there, and he was tight with his pennies, and everybody had tried to get him to buy a block, and he wouldn't do it. And finally, I got him to buy the first block, and I felt real proud of myself because I got him to buy a block, and nobody else had been able to. And I cannot remember what they did with it, but I think they took it to center to the cattle auction and sold it.
The church moved into the newly completed building in 1943. There was much rejoicing in those days as Sister Pearl played the mandolin, Brother Vernon on the violin, Sister Eula Mae Ritter played the guitar, and Miss Maggie Broadway on the piano. After the Collins family resigned the church, over the next decade there were several pastors that went through the church. The Blackburns, the Brandon family, the Nimmons, the Rocheers, and our beloved Brother Morgan and his family. Through the years, the McDonald family remained faithful to First Assembly. The boys grew up and they found sweethearts. They married, they had children, and they stayed faithful to First Assembly. In 1970, Reverend E.J. Adams was voted in as pastor. The church fell in love with Sister Adams and their 5 beautiful little girls, Charlotte, Belinda, Sherry, Geneva, and Tanya. The church began to immediately flourish under the pastoralship of Brother Adams. The families attending began to multiply. Brother Adams immediately began a building project. An educational wing, bathrooms, nursery, and a foyer was added. There were many programs started. There were many activities during this time. The church was thriving and growing, busing children in for Sunday school every Sunday morning. One of the traditions at Timpson Assembly is the annual Easter egg hunt. The following pictures are some of the pictures that we've taken during the years. In 1981, a new sanctuary was completed with a seating capacity of 400. As we saw the 70s go by and we go forward into the decade of the 80s, our youth group began to flourish. We had the largest youth group in the community. There were so many through the years that were faithful in service. Brother Eloy McDonald served as Sunday school superintendent for years. His generosity every Christmas will never be forgotten as he used to pass out this Christmas goodie sacks. Sister Mary McDonald Warnicki, serving faithfully as church secretary for years, faithfully attending the beautification of the church with her flower arrangements. Sister Adams and the women's ministry were instrumental in developing the Missionette program. The church also sponsored Royal Rangers and Rainbow programs. In 1994, Reverend John and Sister Ornette Richardson took over the pastoralship of Timpson First Assembly. Over the past 81 years, there were many families that attended, and many individuals gave so much of their devotion, time, and finances to the church. We cannot mention everyone, nor do we have photographs through the years of everyone, but they are held dear to our hearts and will remain in our memories in years to come. The love and dedication that our loved ones from the past gave and what you give today does not go unnoticed. There will be rich rewards in heaven for those that have worked tirelessly through the years for our church. The McDonald family joined the church 81 years ago in that tomato shed. Their descendants are here today with us. Fifth generation continue at First Assembly of God. Do you know who they are? Maud and Ollie D. McDonald. Do you know who they are? Do you know that you're the fifth generation McDonald to be a part of our church? You do?
Yeah.
Does that make you happy?
Yeah.
I'll bet. So what do you think your grandpa, Norman, would think about you coming to Sunday school? What do you think? You think he might want you to learn to play the tambourine?
Yeah.
As we remember the past today, we honor those who remained faithful and true to First Assembly. We honor those in the beginning who struggled to keep the church alive. We remember the families that started the church. Robert and Gladys and Danny Crawford, the Shepherds, the Ritters, the Collins, the Brittons, the Beasleys, the Days, the Holt, the Welch family, the Broadway family, the Hayes family.
When I returned to the church 3.5 years ago, God told me then, you feed my sheep, love them, and let me tell them how to live. Since I've been back, I've been ministering to those under addiction, working with the judges and probation officers from the counties surrounding us. And these doors are open to whosoever will. My ministry is to whosoever will.
Since 1970, the years have flown by. Decades later, Pastor Adams' family of 7 has grown and multiplied over and over again. Pastor and Sister Adams have 14 grandchildren, 24 great-grandchildren, 2 great-great-grandchildren, and they continue to grow and thrive. Sister Joyce, what do you think that your mom would say to us today, 81 years later? What would she say to the church today?
My dear hearts, don't get discouraged and turn back. The Lord's return is at hand.